PageRank.
Yeah, that's important.
That is important. I'm getting hungry. Stomach's growling.
Other than that, what else? Other than that, changes to search. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, it's,
yeah.
and then talk about
PageRank's probably the big one.
the comment about PageRank from John Muller. They still use PageRank
Internally.
internally.
Yes.
I mean, did they ever really use PageRank externally?
It doesn't even make sense.
Exactly. They only ever.
Considering their algorithms are all internal, I'm not sure how they would do it.
They used to display PageRank.
They used to give you an external
metric.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not like they used it.
Yeah, it's always been internal. And at the end of the day, it was a ranking system between 1 and 10. So didn't really tell you too much about the whole algorithm.
What they showed you was really a basic pared down version of like what background.
Yeah.
When you saw like the different sites and how they would link and which the percentage of page rank that passed through and stuff was completely different when you looked at like what they showed you.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this though, that PageRank is probably used significantly less in the algorithm than they used to. There's probably a lot more having to do with relevance, understanding actual terms and how they relate to each other and things like that, which is why they say, you know, even in 2020, we still use it as a way probably to identify authority, brand, you know, authority, and things like that. But I guarantee there's a lot of other signals.
Yeah.
Besides
I mean, they've worked so hard on just their comprehension, you know, everything from n-grams to just semantic, all the semantic stuff. I mean, there's just so many signals now that probably is more important. I'm not saying links aren't, but even PageRank wasn't the only link algorithm that they had. They had other things that looked at link quality and possibly.
I mean, anchor text in itself. I mean, I've used a lot of low PR sites back in the day to rank a lot of sites, but and it's also important to point out that they use PR internally, and that is not MozDA or Majestic domain rating or trust flow.
They even say they don't use that.
All those metrics mean absolutely nothing as far as PageRank or
they can help you
website
benchmark.
power. Yeah.
Maybe some quality metrics that you, but they're also manipulable. But they're more of benchmarks, you know.
Yeah.
For like quality benchmarks, like is this a quality site or not? You can start looking at referring domains, domain authority, domain rating, whatever, page authority. But definitely not any type of like direct ranking impact. There's just not.
I mean, my biggest ranking metric at this point is putting a site in a link, whatever your favorite link search is. Ahrefs is my favorite, but and then looking at the backlinks and then sorting the backlinks by referring domains to those backlinks, and looking at what are the top linking domains to that site and how many essentially tiered links there are to those backlinks. And then another just good sign of site quality is where I'll look at like SEMrush rankings or traffic, which doesn't always mean bad or good, but of course if I see a website with millions of hits and thousands of keywords ranking, then that's a good signal for me. So,
yeah. But PageRank, definitely important to understand what it is, study it. Like you need to understand how PageRank works because you can influence rankings with it. Like it might be not as important as it used to be, but it's still important. And of links, like it's the granddaddy of the link algorithm, the link patent, if you will. It's literally what Google was built upon. Yeah. And if you understand how you can manipulate PageRank, you can still do, you know, when you read the original PageRank, they told you could manipulate PageRank by getting links from sites or links from pages that have themselves a very high PageRank, or a lot of links from pages with low page rank, and you can still do that if you do it correctly. Like you can use those strategies to funnel link juice and equity where you need it to go, and you're literally manipulating page rank at that point. Certain platforms and pages seem to be able to accept more low quality links than other pages, and then you can use those pages in turn to push. And that's literally you're using PageRank. You're using ancient page rank techniques of a lot of low quality pages to push ranking. You can still do it.
Well, and pushing.
If you're smart, if you're.
Well, yeah, there's definitely a lot you could do with tiered linking and certain.
But
things,
anchor text is also very important. Right
that's
now.
a big part of it now too.
If
Yeah.
you run into problems with links, most likely it was your anchor text. At least that's what. More often than not, if I'm looking at something, they have just outlandish use of anchor text, too commercial. It's brand. It's very, very long tail, more natural stuff.
All going to one inner page. That's
you
a,
gotta spread it out.
Yeah.
You gotta spread it out. But page rank's important.
It's also important, like you were even saying, just manipulating it. But that's essentially the foundation too of where site structure and siloing. Understanding how Googlebot is crawling the site, and they obviously still use PageRank in the foundational understanding of a page giving authority to another page. Its referencing is still very much a fact. So, yeah, understanding siloing, referencing content, not just from inbound links, but internal links as well.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Yep. PageRank is, if there's any authority, it's PageRank.
Yeah.
Like if there was an authority metric that they use, it would be PageRank, right?
But we don't know what it is.
And we don't know it. But you can study it. Go to Stanford and look at the old Google papers on Backrub, and you'll see like the foundations. Even Wikipedia on PageRank is really good because it explains literally how the math behind PageRank works and the percentages and stuff. And it's updated too to reflect reasonable surfer too, which was kind of the change. From the like they told like the original PageRank was updated and modified to include reasonable surfer and possibly other stuff we don't even know about.